What if the worst scenario happens for each of the draft picks? Plus, the great Ron Boone joins the show next on Locked on Jazz.
You are Locked on Jazz, your daily podcast on the Utah Jazz. Part of the Locked on Podcast Network, your team every day.
How are you? I am David Locke. Bonus extra edition draft special. The great Ron Boone stopping by to join the show. We got requested from fans. What does Ron think? I want to hear from Ron. You're getting Ron today. 30 minutes of Ron coming up here in just a minute. At the end of the earlier show today, we broke down the biggest concern I've had about AJ Dybantsa that I don't know that I've ever said as well as I did at the end of yesterday's show, at the end of this morning's show. And that is, if he doesn't shoot 35% from three, it's not that he's not great offensively. He's actually an anchor to an offense. If you look at efficient offensive players, which you have to be an NBA star and a winner, and you're high volume, you have to shoot over 35% from three. You just literally can't find them. I'll do more on this. I did it quickly at the end of the show this morning, in the last episode. So what happens if the worst scenario happens on each of these guys? For AJ Dybantsa, the worst scenario is he never becomes a 35% three-point shooter. I actually think that's got a real chance of happening. And if that's the case, he scores 20 points a game, but he's an offensive anchor. He's Paolo Banchero. He's Julius Randle. That's the player. Those are the players. RJ Barrett that don't shoot 35. RJ Barrett last year shot 33.9% from three as the third option on that offense. He still was barely league average in efficiency. He was literally league average. Scottie Barnes shoots 30% from three. I think AJ's a better shooter than Scottie Barnes, but another top 4 pick. Okay? It doesn't matter how much you go to the free throw line. Darryn Peterson's worst case scenario is he just doesn't play. Right? Darryn Peterson's worst case scenario is he doesn't play. If Darryn Peterson can shoot, I think reasonably we expect him to shoot 35 or 36% from three, and he goes to the free throw line a little bit, like more than league average, hard for him to fail. That's been my point the entire time on him. But he might not play. As I said in the show yesterday, if you're trying to find, you're asking a guy who's barely played 30 to play 100, that's a lot. But the NBA players who shoot at least 10% of their possessions as free throws and shoot 35% from three are Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Austin Reeves, Nikola Jokic, Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard, Jimmy Butler, Luka Doncic, Anthony Edwards, Jamal Murray, Donovan Mitchell, Karl Anthony Towns, Lauri Markkanen, James Harden, Keontae George, Norman Powell, Desmond Bane, Jalen Johnson, Jeremy Grant, Jalen Brunson, surprisingly Sadiq Bey, Andrew Nebhard, and then Pascal Siakam. Shot over 35% from three last year. You do those two things. You take 10% of your shots as your possessions as free throws, which Darryn Peterson should be able to do, and you shoot 35% from three, you're a good offensive player. So his concern is he just doesn't play. And the concern on Cameron Boozer is the lack of athleticism. That really, the lack of athleticism means he gets around the rim and he can't jump and he cannot get shots off. He gets roofed. And that defensively, he gets called out in the middle of the floor and he gets driven at, and he just can't move his feet well enough. Those are the concerns on the three players. And I felt like we should do that. Just open this before we get to Ron, because I just did that on AJ pretty heavily at the end of the last show. But those are the three concerns. The other one I would say on Boozer, that's my other concern, is he's only got one route to play. He's just a power forward. He's not a 2. He's not a 3. Darryn Peterson can play 1, 2, or 3 probably. AJ can play 2, 3, or 4. Just gives him a lot of routes to get on the court. All right. That was just quick on that. Extended time with Ron Boone about the players, his thoughts. Gotta love a guy, 79 years old now? And what's he doing in his offseason? He's watching film of draft prospects to see who's best for the Utah Jazz to take at 79 years old. Seriously, can we all be this curious? Can we all try to be this good at 79? If I've learned anything from Ron Boone, curiosity is key. It's pretty awesome. Got to give the dude a lot of credit. All right, Ron Boone is next on Locked on Jazz. Today's show is brought to you by Murdoch Hyundai, located at Murdoch Chevy, located at 46. Let me try that again. Today's show is brought to you by Murdoch Chevy, and it's located in Woods Cross and in Logan. There we go. The Chevy truck, the Silverado, the Colorado. It's Americana. It's the greatest truck line out there. They made them better than anyone's. They're Chevy. They speak to you right then and there, the Silverado and the Colorado. If you're in the market for a truck for the rest of this summer, let's get it going over at Murdoch Chevy in Woods Cross or in Logan. Feel free to email me at dlock09@gmail.com. We'll set you up. Also, the EVs are all fabulous and there for you as the Chevys have increased their EV lineup. The Volt is their main EV, but they've also got the Silverado EV for you, and they have the Blazer EV and the Equinox EV for you. So you want the SUV EV as well for you. It's all there. The SUV lineup continues to get better and better with the Tahoe, the Blazer, the Equinox, and the Trailblazer. So head on over to Murdoch and let me know what you need. Email me first at dlock09@gmail.com at Murdoch Chevy. Today's show is also brought to you by Rougiette. Rougiette, for time for you to performance. It is performance medicine for men. You want the confidence in the playoffs at the big time, in the big moment, when you need to rise to the occasion, as they say. That's where Rougiette comes in. Rougiette offers modern performance-focused treatments designed to help you get ready when it matters. The top option is Rougiette Ready. It's a fast-acting, clinically formulated treatment that comes in simple mint, dissolves under your tongue, designed for convenience with fat absorption and effects that can begin in about 15 minutes and may last up to 36 hours. They also have Go Long, which is formulated to support both performance and control for longer-lasting needs. It's all about helping guys feel prepared, confident, and in control. In the playoffs, readiness isn't optional, and it's not for you either. So the idea of being ready at the right moment carries a lot of weight and covers into everyday life too. That's exactly why Rougiette is built to help you be ready when it matters most. What stands out is the ability to plan around timing. 15 minutes changes the game for everyone with Rougiette. So head to Rougiette.com/LockedOnNHL. That's right, LockedOnNHL to get 15% off your treatment. That's Rougiette to get 15% off your treatment at Locked On NHL for 15% off. Rougiette, performance medicine for men. He's the great Ron Boone, and if you think he's just playing golf, you're wrong. He's actually watching videos of the players. He has watched 6 players: AJ Dybantsa, Darryn Peterson, Cameron Boozer, Caleb Wilson, Darius Acuff, Michael Brown Jr., all of which the Jazz had somewhat in or met with along the way. So these are the 6 players that probably matter the most here. So do you have a favorite? Do you have a player you liked more than any other? We could start. I'm going to guess you like a 6'6" guard, but I don't know why I would think that. Do you have one that you liked as a favorite we should start with, or should I just run down the list?
You can just run down the list because I think every player has something about them that you like, something maybe that you don't like, and what can translate from college to the NBA. So that's the way I looked at the games.
I mean, this is better than some years. You watch some of these, like 2 years ago, I'm watching the draft picks and I can't find anyone I like, right? This is like, I don't know, we'll get to him, but like, I think Acuff's pretty special. I understand he was like, from talking to him, he was one of the worst defense players like in the country, but like, I think he's pretty special. And if he's like not, like he would have been the number 1 pick of 2 years ago's draft 100 times out of 100 times. So like, it's pretty interesting to see. All right, let's start with AJ Dybantsa, the BYU star. projected to go number one. There's still some doubt on it, but I think he's projected to go one and will not be on the board for the Jazz. But what do you see out of him?
What I see, David, is I'm wondering why people are thinking that he won't go number one. I like his game. I like what he does, and his size. He seems to like playing with the ball in his hands quite a bit. So if there was any question that I had with him, I'm looking at, can he make his teammates better? Did he make his teammates better in college? Does he pass off the dribble? Because him and Ace Bailey are pretty much the same size. And Bailey picked up things pretty quickly. And I'm kind of worried about AJ. But that doesn't mean he should not go number one.
I honestly think the only reason he wouldn't go number one is that someone likes Darryn Peterson that much. I don't think that, that's the beauty of these top three. I don't think anyone's drafting not because they like one of these guys. They're drafting because they like somebody else so much.
How about the need, though? I mean, do general managers now, do they draft because they need this type of player? Or are they drafting strictly on this guy has so much potential, this guy has a tremendous amount of skill level, and I tell you what I like with some of these players. I like guys that can play two positions. AJ, we saw Ace Bailey doing it. Peterson, I don't know if he can or not, but he does have the size to do something like that. Boozer, can he play two positions? It's like having an extra player for a coach.
I also think it's really important for a young player to play multiple positions because it gives them different routes to get on the court. Like if you think about Tony Bradley, who never really materialized with us, he's never been great, but he's going to end up with a 12-year career in the NBA. He was behind Rudy Gobert and Derek Favors, and there was no other way for him to ever be on the floor. It was like there was no chance to him ever to get on the floor. So I do think it's interesting you count them all. My concern on Boozer is he's actually a one-position player. He's a power forward. He's not a center. I'm not totally convinced he can play small ball center.
I totally agree with you, David. Watched his scoring in the in college, the post ups, the high-low type stuff. I mean, really scoring in the paint quite a bit. Can shoot the three, but I think he needs to get his feet together. He's and maybe catch and shoot a three. Not much saw him do off the dribble. But having said that, from what I'm hearing, he might be one of the smarter players among those 5 or 6 players.
All right, let's go back to AJ for a second. You had asked me when we played golf the other day, AJ and Ace together. What are your thoughts on AJ and Ace together?
And that's been going through my mind there. Can those guys, are their games similar to the point where they could really just offensively just light things up? I think Bailey is definitely ahead of AJ for sure. But when I was asking a few minutes earlier, do you draft on need or are you drafting on ability? And if you're drafting on need, I don't know if you need AJ if you got Ace Bailey. That's my point.
Should this player be your best player 3 years from now?
I'd go a little farther than that, David. I'd say 5. And I thought about this as well. Can this guy 5 years from now be the man to carry this team? Or does his game reach a peak and then you have that little slide the other way to the point where he's not going to be all NBA player or anything like that? So I think drafting freshman guys this young, and that's why general managers' jobs is so difficult because they just don't know.
AJ, the NBA player, will be best at what, from what you've seen?
I think probably best at playing with the ball in his hands. I watched him play, go left or right, and just elevate inside the 3-point free throw line and just shoots over the top of players and score. That part of his game I really liked, and I saw quite a bit of it when I was watching some of those BYU games. But he's talented and he has skills. Now, the big thing here, and we saw Ace Bailey pick things up, boom, 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 to the point where he was starting to, David, demand playing time. Is that good enough? No. So hopefully, if AJ has those type of tools, and he can start to demand playing time there as well.
Okay. Let's go to Darryn Peterson. What's your thoughts?
I like him because he can get to spots. He shoots the basketball very well. He seems to play very much under control. And I can see why so many people are very high on him. And we're talking a lot about offense with these guys, and not really, all the videos and everything I saw was mostly offense and not so much defense. But his game offensively seems to be NBA, of those guys, probably NBA ready right now.
The two things that jumped out to me watching him, one was he was on balance all the time. And the great scorers in our game are always on balance. Did you notice that?
Yeah, and footwork is everything. Going straight up, you're absolutely right about being on balance. I watched him go right, spin back to the middle of the floor, on balance when he's shooting the basketball. So yes, that's true. He seemed to be a left side of the floor shooter, which is natural, I think, because during the course of the season, you and I talked about this quite a bit. Right-handers shoot a lot going to their left, because when you're going to your right, you got to turn, square your shoulders up. I'm talking about with the ball in your hands. You got to go into your right, you got to turn square up to shoot. Going to your left, you don't necessarily have to be square, to get the shot off. Well, he does get quite a bit of shots off from the left side of the floor. It looked like it was like 47% there from the left side there, if I remember correctly.
It's pretty good. I think, if I remember correctly on his statistics, that he had like 35 assists and 35 turnovers on the year, 38 assists and 38 turnovers, something. Any thoughts on that?
That could be a problem. Under 2 assists a game, that wouldn't be good unless, what kind of team was he playing for where they didn't call on him to pass the basketball. And 2 things I kind of watch for. Does a guy get assists in the system, or does he get assists by making plays? And I think he just might be one of those guys that gets assists in a system, not so much where he can make plays and make somebody better.
I will say, watching Bill's self system, they ran that kind of around when I watch their games, not there, so their highs. They pass and they run around, which I really like for Peterson because it meant that you could see him move off the ball. I actually have made the comment that has gotten the ire and not been understood, that I kind of, at times watching AJ, wish he had gone to somewhere other than BYU. Not because I don't think he should have gone to BYU, because if he had played on a team like Kansas or somewhere where he wasn't always the best player on the floor, then I could have seen if he moves off the ball. But I never see if AJ can move off the ball because he ran 300 isolations and 300 pick and rolls during the season, which is the most of anyone, because he's not running around off the ball. He's going to get the ball. And so that's not AJ's fault or Kevin Young's fault or anyone's. But if he had played for North Carolina or Duke or Kansas, he would have done some of this other stuff to be able to see if he could do it. That's been a misinterpreted comment at least on Peterson, I say it, but I also would say this on Peterson, because they run that system. If you give the ball up, you're never seeing it again at Kansas. You're never seeing it again.
Yeah. Well, what did he average? 20 points a ball game, 38% from the 3-point line, 43% from the field there, and 81% from the free throw line. So I think shooting the basketball is probably not a problem from him. So I don't know, but would he be the safe pick? Absolutely the safe pick.
I think if all the listeners have heard this a million times, I'll just share it with you because I assume you're listening to Locked On Jazz. You have enough of me. You don't need to listen to the podcast. I actually think he is the one who has the smallest ceiling to floor. I actually don't think his ceiling is as high as everybody else does. I actually think being a 6'6" player in the NBA and being top 10 in the NBA is really, really hard. Like, you have to either be Shai Gilgeous-Alexander or Anthony Edwards. I think it's more likely that he's like top 15 to top 30, but I don't think if he scores 25 points a game, he's a top 30 player in the NBA. And then I think he maybe gets to like Devin Booker top 15. But my point on this is, like, Bradley Beal was never a top 10 MVP candidate ever. Devin Booker's only been it once. Like, it's really hard to be that type of player and be, unless you're Michael Jordan, Kobe, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Anthony Edwards. Maybe he's that. Holy smokes.
So you draft guys like that and you're thinking, okay, can I get 5 years out of this guy and he can be very productive? Because right now you just named 2 guys that I think have reached that ceiling. I don't think they're getting any better. Obviously, Booker is probably the one I'm referring to. Yeah. I don't think he gets much better. And so you're looking at trying to get the maximum out of guys in 5 years, I think.
All right. Darryn Peterson is probably the most likely person to end up on the Jazz roster at this point. Tell me what you envision Darryn Peterson on the Jazz roster like.
I think playing with veteran players and at the 2 guard position and Keontae playing the 1, then he could be on the fast track of learning very quickly, and that could be a pretty good starting lineup. Can he beat Bailey out, or do you bring him off the bench? I mean, there's questions there because I really think Bailey and Keontae will probably be starters. But again, you're looking at Peterson, and I do like his game, David, but can he demand minutes early in this season?
All right, he's Ron Boone. We're getting more with Ron Boone. You got to love this dude. He's not 24 anymore. And he's spending his offseason watching draft picks because he's Ron Boone. He's just great. Yep. So we'll come back with more Ron Boone here on Locked On Jazz. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel giving you all the excitement with the soccer that's going on, with everything else that's taking place right now. You can get into it and make everything a memorable moment. One goal can completely change the energy of the game, shift momentum, alter the outcome in an instant, and that's what makes tournament soccer so exciting from the opening whistle to the final kick. And FanDuel is giving fans another reason to stay locked into every match with every goal pays. Bet on a match and get bonus bets for every goal scored in the match. More goals means more bonus bets. All you have to do is turn on your token. So that's what you love about tournaments. You can turn on a match between teams you don't normally follow. Suddenly one goal changes everything. The tension builds, and you're invested before you even realize it. Make it all a lot of fun. Look at the matchups, aggressive offensively, and have some fun with it. From the opening whistle to the final kick, let there be goals on FanDuel. Visit FanDuel.com to get started now. That's FanDuel.com to get started now.
I carry a lot of responsibility in my household. If something happened to me, there would be serious consequences. We have a mortgage. We got tuition. We got everyday bills. Those aren't going anywhere if something happens to me. And I know that's an overwhelming feeling, but I'm taking steps to protect my family by getting life insurance through Ethos. Ethos makes getting life insurance fast, easy, and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. There's no medical exam. You just answer a few simple health questions. You can get up to $3 million in coverage. Some policies are as low as $30 a month. And as of March 2025, Business Insider named Ethos the #1 no medical exam instant life insurance provider. Ethos has 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot with over 3,000 reviews. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos now by going to ethos.com/LockedOnNBA. In as little as 10 minutes, you can get your free quote and up to $3 million in coverage at ethos.com/LockedOnNBA. That's ethos.com/LockedOnNBA. Ethos.com/LockedOnNBA. Application times and rates may vary.
All right, Ron Boone, let's keep it going. Cameron Boozer, such a fascinating discussion.
2 things came out with him. Listening to an interview, I think he was talking to someone. They asked him just about what do you think? I mean, what is the upside of what do you think is the greatest thing of your game? And he just said, I'm a smart player. Now, and I started thinking about that. You think about the number of sons of ex-NBA players. Do they know the game at such a young age? Are they able to think, talk the lingo and all that kind of stuff at such a young age? Then you go to Duke and you have that kind of tutelage, that kind of teaching out there. Is he right? That I'm a smart player?
He's won. The thing on him is he's won everywhere. He's won the Peachtree 4 times. He's won this. He's won that. Had not been for a miracle shot by the kid on UConn, they probably win the national title. Like, but it's an interesting question. Like, does that matter? Like, Ace Bailey hasn't won anywhere. Does it matter? Like, Keontae hasn't really, and they haven't won in the NBA yet either. So, like, I don't know. Like, I can't figure out how much that matters. It's definitely a plus because Jalen Brunson's won everywhere and now just won a title.
Yeah. Well, I just thought that was interesting that was what he pointed out. He didn't say talked about his offensive game, his defensive game, how well he can post up or anything like that. He just mentioned that he was a smart player. And that goes a long ways, I think, because there are situations on the floor where you have to make decisions. And if you're smart enough, if you've gone through it before, then you'll make the right decisions. How often do we hear coaches mention making good decisions out there on the floor? So he's that kind of guy. But I also heard, David, that he might be the most safe pick out of the top 5 or 6 players. What do you think about that?
So I totally disagree.
You totally disagree.
This is where I'm against the narrative.
Okay.
I think he's the swing. So I think the safe pick is Darryn Peterson. 6'6" guards, 6 foot guards who can shoot, just don't fail in the league. The only one I could find that was drafted in the top 10 that failed in the NBA was Dion Waiters, and he had all sorts of emotional baggage off the court. So, like, you really cannot think of a 6'6" guard who can shoot, who doesn't play 30 minutes a night and just plays. Like, it's like almost impossible. So I think Darryn Peterson is the safest pick of this whole thing.
Okay.
I think AJ is interesting to me because my concern on AJ, he doesn't shoot the 3 very well yet. It doesn't look great. And if he never shoots it well, then he has to have the ball in his hands, like you're saying. And then he becomes RJ Barrett, Paulo Banchero, Pascal Siakam, Julius Randle. And they're really good. And they score 20 points a game and they maybe make an all-star. But the fact is you can't like build it. Like they need that skill. Like it. No. So I think AJ's variance is literally that he scores 20 points a game as an all-star is his. But I say this about AJ. If AJ can shoot the 3, he's top 5 player in the NBA.
Oh,
like he could be. So like he goes all the way. To me, Boozer's the one that does all the way. So for a long time in this draft process, I thought Boozer was a 6'10" Cade Cunningham. Because if you actually watch Duke late in games, he initiates the offense and he runs the pick and roll. And then I'm like, well, wait, what do we have here? Like, is he Luka? Is he Cade Cunningham? Like, what happens if he's a 6'10", 250-pound, I don't know what, who starts your offense? And they're switch, and you set a pick with your point guard, and now a point guard's trying to guard a 6 foot because they switch it because he's your 4, and now a point guard's trying to guard a 6'10", 250-pounder and just bulldozes him to the basket every time, and you always have to bring help every single time. Like, oh my God, he's incredible. Like, that's where I actually think he could be the best player in this draft and an MVP. Like, average 20 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists.
Whoa, really? Okay, so
Like,
I watched him run the point late in the game. I did watch him run the point late in the game.
If he's playing 80 possessions a game, 40 of them he's initiating the offense. Now, I've talked to a bunch of people who think he's just the sugar. Like, that's just something you do with him 5 times a night, but not the main course. Okay, that's where I get nervous. Because let's say that's just the sugar. Then what is he? And like, what's he doing? So I think he's terrific and could be amazing. The real question I have, and I want your thoughts, is how much does athleticism matter?
Well, and from what I understand, he's not that athletic.
Right. Or he's not that vertically athletic.
So, and that brings up another question. Remember I asked you a few minutes ago about getting assists in the system because this play is designed to get a shot at this spot. Like Larry Bird said, I'm going to get a shot right here, that kind of thing. Or if he's going to run the point, can he make assists without playmakers assists?
I mean, the other angles, he's setting the pick, he's catching at the mid block or the mid post, and then he's making all those decisions at the mid post, and he's probably great at that. Like great at that. So
okay, what I see though, David, I think he has heavy legs.
Yes.
I don't think he elevates.
Does not.
Is he using his body to rebound more so than any jumping ability? Or can he be Dennis Rodman, where he's reading the ball coming off the rim and going and get it? Or is he rebounding in an area in his a spot in his area? At 6'9", he's going to have to play power forward, I think, in the NBA. I don't think.
Can he survive? Like, tell me, like, how much does it matter? Like, Domantas Sabonis is probably a similar athlete, right?
And he can't jump.
No.
But he uses his body real well. Can Boozer be that kind of guy? And I think, if I remember correctly, you said something about he's a better shooter than Sabonis or something like that.
Sabonis can't really shoot from the outside.
Yeah, he really can't shoot. So maybe he can be that guy, but I think it would be in a short period of time on the floor. I mean, he's not going to be a center. He's going to be a power forward where they can use him that way.
Right. I think that. I don't think he's a center.
No,
I think
he shot the three. What did he shoot the three? He shot the three at 39%, and that's only three attempts a game, which is okay. Got to the free throw line 7 times a game, and this is in college. So,
can he bully people in the NBA the same way he bullied people in college?
I think there's still a few players that play the bully ball game, But I'd like to see a little bit more. The reason I think us heavy legs, you watch guys. He's 250 pounds. He's Karl Malone size. As a matter of fact. Karl elevated. Karl was much quicker and faster. I watched Boozer drive to the basket going right, and it was like he had to really gather to get up the dunk with one hand. So he doesn't elevate.
Okay, so here's the question. I don't know if you can see this graphic I just put on the screen. This was the top 10 players at the beginning of the year.
Okay.
And if we run through the top 10 players, Jokic is not an athlete.
Nope.
Shai, kind of. Giannis, yes. Luka, no. Steph?
Ooh. You hesitated there.
Anthony Edwards, yes. Victor, yes. Jalen Brunson, no. Donovan, yes. Jason Tatum, probably yes. So 4, maybe 5 of the top 10 players in the NBA we thought of as like non-athletes. Like, is this a hand and foot league? Is this a athlete league? Like, what is it?
It's got to be an athletes league anymore. I mean, you can't be one-dimensional. Okay, so and I think the good players find a way to be successful when they don't have certain tools. Shai Alexander might be a perfect example. He's found a way. His game is elevated to the point where he's a great mid-range shooter, spot up 3-point shooter. And I know we're talking about offense all the time with these guys, but he did elevate his game into he was traded his first year in the league.
Yeah, Clippers, part of the Paul George trade.
And probably the worst trade there for me. But
oops,
right. But I don't know, David. That's why Austin Ames and these guys' job is so hard.
All right, let's run through the last 3 guys. Just your quick thoughts on them. I don't think they're ending up in Utah, but you never know. If we trade down, if we really like one of these guys trading down. I did talk to one guy in the league. I will just share this. I shared this on another show. I thought this was fascinating. I asked him, he does not have a pick in this range. And he said, they're really similar. You should trade down. And I was like, why? He's like, because if you can get something with one of these players, that's the best package you could get. Like the difference between AJ Dybantsa and Darryn Peterson and Cameron Boozer, and I don't think he was including Caleb Wilson, but he might have been, is immaterial. It's like it's so small that if you suddenly were to get something with one of them, then that's your best package. So I thought that was a super interesting approach. Give me your thoughts on Caleb Wilson.
6'10", and I'm wondering why they don't talk about him more. I was looking at his numbers there, and his numbers aren't great from the 3-point line, but rebounds, is he good in space? 74%. Mid-range is good. He looks like a good athlete to me. And defense, strong post-up, perimeter, kind of questionable, but he's aggressive on offense. And kind of like that. That means he can get to the free throw line. But he's one of those guys I think is going to really, David, going to benefit with the developmental coaches.
I've talked to multiple people who say it's not outlandish. He'll be the best player of all of them in 4 years.
Interesting. I kind of like.
I mean, the thing on him is everything about him is when it clicks in, not where I think Darryn Peterson and AJ and Boozer are kind of what they are. And it's like, well, if and when Caleb Wilson becomes a shooter, then he's this. And if and when Caleb Wilson becomes this, he's that. No, I don't think there's any question. He should probably be being talked about more. It wouldn't totally flabbergast me if the Jazz drafted him number 2.
So you're thinking he's a good athlete too, right?
He's the best athlete.
Best athlete, okay.
No question, best athlete. And I think he's the one who will benefit the most from NBA spacing.
Got to learn how to shoot, though.
Right.
He's got to be a better shooter. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But I agree, but I'm not totally convinced AJ's going to be able to shoot. We'll see. If he is, he's going to be great. Cameron's shot is slow. Like, it's a big, deep net, bring the ball. Like, 2 of the other 3 guys might not turn out to be great shooters also. Like, there's a chance. So, like, I think that's an interesting, like, yeah, he's got to be able to shoot, and he just did very little of it. But some of his turnaround jumper stuff is sick. It's not something I think we'll see a lot of in the NBA, but it tells me that there's a real touch to what he's doing.
Yeah. Okay. I like him. I definitely like him, especially his size.
Yeah, I don't think it's been untalked about. If it would be a stunner that makes sense if the Jazz drafted him second.
So is he a player, like I mentioned earlier, that could play 2 positions?
Absolutely.
Why not? Okay.
Right.
There we go.
He might be able to play some small ball 5 better than Cameron, frankly, at times, but I don't think so. I don't, because he could outrun people the other way. I don't think so. Darius Acuff.
6'3", and let me say that was 1 3. No, that's the other guy. I don't have a. Is he a good shooter? I got him as a good shooter, mid-range. Is he good in pace of play, more so than a half-court game? Seems to be very quick, 6'3", and I got him. He sets up good for catch and shoot. Numbers look pretty good, but I like him, but didn't see anything that really.
You don't think he's on the tier of these other guys?
No.
Okay.
No.
And, all right, last one is Michael Brown.
What I wonder about him, though, David, after watching him play and then reading, he's taking more 3s than 2s. So is he trying to prove a point? I can shoot the 3, or, I mean, he's 6'5", shoots 28% from the 3-point line, but he takes more 3-point shot than he does 2s. Did we have a player like that on the team this year? couldn't shoot the 3, you know, but I don't know, 6'5", and again, decision making is another question mark I had.
Yeah, he's a little wild.
Yeah.
He's got a little mellow to him. All right, Ron Boone, you're awesome for looking at all these things. You're totally great.
Right.
Appreciate you.
All right.
The fans do as well. We got requested from the fans. They want to know what Ron Boone thought, so now they know what Ron Boone thinks. Thank you very much. You're fabulous.
Yeah, tell the family hello.
I will. That is Ron Boone. That is Locked On Jazz today. Thank you so much for tuning in. We now say the first ever 24/7 national NBA channel, Locked On NBA. Check out more draft coverage with Locked On NBA Draft at No Ceilings. Keep an eye out for bonus episodes.